There may be a giant planet hiding in our own solar system, and we have never seen it. Not a distant exoplanet, not light years away, right here circling our own sun. A world several times heavier than Earth, lurking in the dark beyond Neptune. We have mapped the planets for centuries, we have sent probes to all of them. And yet a ninth giant may be out there, unseen in the freezing dark. We cannot see it, but we think we can feel its gravity tugging on distant worlds. Far out past Neptune, a group of icy worlds move as if something is hurting them. Their orbits point the same way, tilt the same way, as if pulled by an invisible hand. And the best explanation we have is a hidden planet, Planet 9. Welcome, you're watching To the Moon and Back. Here we travel to the real mysteries hiding in the cosmos and in our own backyard. Today, the search for a world in our own solar system that no one has ever seen. A planet found not by looking but by mathematics, if it is real at all. Let's go hunting for a hidden world. You learned the planets as a child, a tidy row circling the sun. The four small rocky worlds, then the giants, then cold, distant Neptune. For a long time we thought that was the whole family, neat and complete. But the solar system does not end at Neptune, not even close. Beyond it lies a vast, dark, frozen frontier we are only beginning to explore. A region scattered with icy worlds, left over from the birth of the planets. Some are small, some like Pluto are dwarf planets in their own right. And a few travel on truly bizarre paths far out into the deep dark. One of them is a distant frozen world on an enormous, stretched-out orbit. It swings so far from the sun that a single lap takes over 10,000 years. At its farthest, the sun is just a bright star in its black sky. Worlds like this puzzled astronomers, their orbits did not quite make sense. Something had shaped them, but there was nothing out there big enough to do it. At least nothing we could see. To understand the mystery, astronomers looked not at one orbit but at many. They gathered the most distant icy bodies ever found and plotted their paths. And when they laid all the orbits together, they saw something that stopped them cold. The orbits were not random, they were lined up, clustered, pointing the same way. Like a handful of clock hands, all frozen at the same hour. In a solar system shaped by chance, that should be almost impossible. Something was holding them in formation, something massive, something hidden. This was the clue that launched a modern planet hunt. Think about what it takes to line up orbits across billions of kilometers. These icy worlds are spread across an enormous volume of empty space. For their orbits to all point the same way, something must be steering them. Gently, patiently, over millions of years, herding them like a shepherd. And to herd worlds that far out, the shepherd must be big, planet-sized. Two astronomers ran the numbers again and again, searching for an answer. They tested whether the alignment could just be a fluke of chance. The odds came back tiny, a fraction of a percent. It was almost certainly real. Then they asked what single object could explain all of it at once. The answer their equations gave was a planet, a big one. Roughly 5 to 10 times the mass of the Earth, a giant among planets. Not a rocky world like ours, but more likely a small ice giant like a mini Neptune. A deep, cold blue world wrapped in a thick, freezing atmosphere. But its orbit is what makes it a ghost. It travels impossibly far from the sun. Hundreds of times farther than the Earth, far beyond Neptune into the deep dark. So far that a single orbit could take 10 to 20,000 years. It has not completed one lap since humans first walked out of Africa. Out there, the sun would give almost no light and almost no warmth. The planet would sit in near total darkness, colder than almost anything imaginable. A giant world, frozen and unlit, gliding silently through the edge of the solar system. If it is real, it is the fifth largest planet orbiting our sun. A major world right in our own system that has never once been seen. The idea electrified astronomy, but it also raised an obvious, nagging question. If a giant planet is really out there, then why, after all this time? With all our telescopes, have we not simply looked up and found it? The answer is a lesson in just how good the dark is at hiding things. A planet makes no light of its own, we only ever see them by reflected sunlight. And sunlight fades fast with distance, very fast. Double the distance to a planet, and the sunlight reaching it drops to a quarter. Planet 9 may sit hundreds of times farther out than the Earth. The sunlight it receives is unimaginably faint, and what it reflects fainter still. By the time that whisper of light crawls back to Earth, it is almost nothing. The planet would appear as an incredibly dim speck, lost among countless stars. And it moves so slowly, so far away, that it barely seems to move at all. The usual trick for spotting planets, watching them drift against the stars, barely works because Planet 9 would crawl across the sky over years. Worse, we do not know exactly where to look. Its orbit is vast and uncertain. It could be anywhere along a giant arc, across a huge stretch of the sky. And part of that arc passes in front of the crowded band of the Milky Way. A single faint dot hidden among millions of far brighter stars. Finding it is like spotting a single dim firefly in a stadium full of floodlights from the far side of a city without knowing which seat to check. So its invisibility is not a weakness in the theory, it is exactly what we would expect. A giant this far out is supposed to be this hard to see. Which is why, for now, the best evidence for Planet 9 is not a picture. It is the gravity, the fingerprints it leaves on everything around it. And if that feels like flimsy evidence, remember, we have done this before. We have found a planet with pure mathematics before ever seeing it. It happened once already, and it was one of science's greatest triumphs. To understand Planet 9, you have to know the story of Neptune. In the 1800s, the farthest known planet was Uranus. And Uranus had a problem, it would not follow its predicted paths. It kept drifting slightly ahead, then behind where it was supposed to be. Something was tugging on it, an unseen mass out in the dark beyond. A mathematician sat down and calculated where that hidden mass must be. Using only Uranus's wobble, he predicted the position of an unknown planet. He sent his prediction to an observatory, pointing to a patch of empty sky. That very night the astronomers looked, and there it was. Neptune, right where the mathematics said it would be, found by calculation. A whole planet discovered with a pencil, before any eye had ever seen it. It was one of the most stunning confirmations in the history of science. Gravity had revealed a hidden world, and the same logic drives the hunt today. Planet 9 is Neptune's echo, a world betrayed by its pull on others. The clustered orbits are our modern version of Uranus's wobble. A gravitational fingerprint pointing to something big we have not yet seen. Of course, history is not proof. The 19th century had a false alarm too. Astronomers once predicted a planet inside Mercury's orbit. It never existed. The wobble they saw turned out to be explained by Einstein's new physics instead. So a gravitational clue is a powerful hint, but it is not the same as a photograph. Which is why, right now, the race is on to actually find Planet 9. Across the world, telescopes are scanning the dark, patch by patch, searching the enormous arc of sky where the hidden giant might be drifting. It is slow, painstaking work. The sky is huge and the planet is faint. But a new generation of survey telescopes is about to change the game. One giant new observatory will scan the entire southern sky, night after night, building a moving map of the sky detailed enough to catch faint, crawling objects. If Planet 9 is out there in the range we expect, it may finally spot it. Within a few years, we could go from a prediction to a real world with a face. A ninth planet added to the solar system for the first time in generations. But not everyone agrees it is a planet at all, and here is where it gets strange. Some argue the clustered orbits could be caused by many small objects instead. A distant ring of icy debris nudging the orbits together with no giant planet. And then there is the wildest idea of all. What if Planet 9 is not a planet, but a tiny, ancient black hole? A relic from the birth of the universe with the mass of a planet. Squeezed into something no bigger than a grapefruit, but heavier than 5 Earths. It would pull on the icy worlds exactly like a planet, but give off no light. A black hole orbiting our own sun in the dark, it sounds impossible. It is a long shot. Most astronomers still bet on a planet, but we do not yet know. And that uncertainty is the whole thrill of it. Somewhere out there in the dark at the edge of our solar system, something waits. And we are about to find out what it is. Think about what it means that we might still find a giant planet next door. We have mapped galaxies billions of light years away. And yet our own solar system may still be hiding a world in plain sight. It is a reminder that the age of exploration is not over, not even close. There are still blank spaces on the map, still monsters in the dark. Still, right on our doorstep, discoveries waiting to rewrite the textbooks. Maybe Planet 9 is real, a frozen giant we will photograph within the decade. Maybe it is a swarm of ice or a black hole, or something we have not imagined. Either way, the answer is out there, waiting in the cold and the dark. And we are finally close enough to reach out and touch the mystery. If a hidden planet next door gave you chills, then you belong here. This channel is a map of the strangest real mysteries in the cosmos. Subscribe, and every week we chase something no human has ever seen. Tell me in the comments, planet, ring of ice, or black hole, what do you bet it is? There is so much more out there, and so much more to find. Thanks for watching To the Moon and Back. Keep looking up.